Hey guys, and welcome to more of Making My Brother Play Otome games. I'm Kaylin.
I'm Nathan.
And last time, well, it's been a while since we last recorded, so I'm trying to remember all that happened.
Apparently they were human, but not
But
human.
not human. We were talking to Dr. Matsumoto, who we finally found, about the furies, which are the people who have been given the water of life stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
that stuff.
That stuff. So that's what we were doing right now.
And we learned all about them.
We learned a little bit about him anyway. We learned that Dad's still missing.
They're apparently human, but not human. Dad's still missing.
Yep. Perhaps they were in something entirely different now.
Entirely different.
Entirely. What else?
All right.
What else are we going to find out?
What else more shall we learn?
I couldn't see how this water of life could ever be used for good. Even if it had healed Sonen's arm, he'd suffered greatly in the process. Why? Did I set a timer? No, I'm trying to remember. Okay, go ahead. It came up more as a moan than a question. My father would never want to ruin the life of another, but because of what he'd done, people had suffered. Some had even died. Why was my father doing this? But it wasn't just my father. I was sure no one involved had wanted such a terrible outcome.
Perhaps that is why Kodo left. His conscience would no longer allow him to continue.
I suppose that could make sense.
And now the characters have a funny black line above their outline for some reason.
I'm assuming that's probably because we have it in full screen and it's the PSP version. It's kind of distorting the graphics a little bit.
I'm sure that's been there the whole time.
I think it has been there the whole time and you just now noticed. But this is kind of a lighter background than we've seen.
But the Water of Life was an opportunity given to us by the Shogun to help strengthen the Shinsengumi.
Yeah!
Yeah. They didn't give it to us as test dummies.
Definitely not.
Guinea pigs. It would never do such a thing.
Kondo's very optimistic, okay?
Yeah, very optimistic apparently.
Yep.
Totally oblivious to the fact that they're using them as human test subjects.
Maybe a little bit. We don't blame him for these things. The doctor only shook his head.
It was an experiment, and it has failed. You should put it behind you. I'm sure the Shogunate has abandoned it as well.
Kondo frowned, perhaps unhappy that Dr. Matsumoto would question the Shogunate's original decision.
You've seen what happened to the men it was tested on, Kondo.
Yep.
It cannot be allowed to continue. This experiment is inhumane and you know it.
Hearn. It's an interesting subtitle. Kondo gave a non-committal grunt and fell silent.
Non-committal grunt.
Yep. I was sure Kondo knew just how dangerous it was to use the Water of Life, but the Shogunate had come to him with a request. Perhaps he was unable to refuse, even if he wanted to. Silence fell like a thick blanket. Really heavy and warm. It had grown almost unbearable when...
An outsider has no right to object.
Get out of here, you're supposed to be dead.
Supposed to be dead, Sanan.
Sonnen? He was especially pale, which seemed to be one of the consequences of being active during the day. Part of his vampirism,
right.
Yep. Is it okay for you to be up right now?
Sanan, you look pale. Don't worry about me.
He bowed quickly, his mouth a compressed line, and turned to regard the doctor with a cool gaze.
We use this treatment effectively, and at our own discretion. It's dangerous, and far too strong. We have continued Kondo's research. I am, as you can see, living proof, so to speak.
Living, so to speak. As Sonnen did indeed prove, it was possible to drink the Water of Life and retain your sanity. It just wasn't easy.
Perhaps you're right. One success hardly means you have unlocked its secrets. I respectfully disagree. With continued research and modification, we will have many more successes and fewer casualties.
It's interesting that the English subtitle says, I respectfully disagree, when the Japanese soundtrack, he just said, "ie," which is a very strong no. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. This isn't a matter of fewer casualties, it's a matter of casualties, period. It isn't worth the deaths of any more of your men. The men who've given their lives are the foundation of our work. I won't allow them to have died in vain.
The classic ethical...
Yes.
The classic ethical war between humanity and progress.
Progress. But... Alright, that's enough from both of you. Why don't we discuss this some other time?
It was my private opinion that they were unlikely to agree no matter what time they discussed the subject, but I felt it would be polite to keep that to myself.
Yeah, maybe a little polite. Very well.
There seemed to be very little in the way of common ground between them, but I could see the merit of both their arguments. Likely Kondo had as well, and had chosen to end things before it got unpleasant.
If you insist, Kondo, he says with a smile.
Uh-huh.
That's a sly smile.
Sonen's face betrayed nothing of what he might be thinking, even when the corner of his mouth quirked up into the beginning of a smile. He bowed once more and left as swiftly as he'd arrived. Kondo cleared his throat loudly. So then.
So, how did the exams go?
Oh yes, the Shinsengumi were getting physical exams.
Ah, yes, about that.
Dr. Matsumoto's face took on the look of someone about to discuss something exceedingly grotesque.
Nearly a third of your men are sick, or injured, or both.
What?
Impossible! It's not only possible, Kondo, it's the truth. What on earth have you been doing to these poor men? Cuts, lacerations, bowel pain? The entire place is lousy with, well, lice for one.
It's a bit of a problem.
Are you serious? First, you need to set aside a room dedicated to medical care. Sick men can be sent there. Second, you need to clean this place up. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you.
Clean up your mess.
I see. Well, if the good doctor says so.
Bum bum bum. And so we were ordered to clean the entire compound. The captains complied, although they certainly seemed less than enthusiastic about the idea.
I have to clean my room.
Oh my gosh, Mom. The following day, Dr. Matsumoto returned for an inspection.
Chirp, chirp,
Chirp chirp.
chirp, chirp,
Chirp.
chirp, chirp, chirp.
Yep.
Well, you've certainly cleaned this place up.
He looked pleased, if not a little smug.
Yeah.
I made them clean up after themselves.
It better be. We busted our asses. Yeah, except for Suji.
Suji.
Soji.
Every time.
Every time. And it will probably continue until the end of this.
I actually really want you to take his route now, just so that you can say that the entire route.
Yeah, except for Soji. The only one his ass busted was a chair.
The only thing.
Only thing his ass busted was a chair. It doesn't seem fair to me.
So unfair.
Can't blame me if Hijikata is an overprotective old woman. Shut it. You can run around all you want, as soon as you go a day without coughing up a lung.
If Hijikata had any actual concern for Okita's health, his face showed none of it.
Nonetheless, a clean home is a nice change. He is such Mr. Cool, suave character. I noticed this from Saito.
Yeah,
Saito. It seems like he's the cool customer.
yeah. He is the cool type one. Yeah.
Just Mr. Suave. always got that hair.
A little bit, I guess.
One eye, just
Yep.
everything's all nice and calm.
Uh-huh.
True, the place looks different. I guess I could get used to this. Well, maybe we should clean every day then. Great idea. Make sure you do a good job, Heisuke. Me?
picking
Whoa,
on Heske
whoa,
again.
hold on a minute here. You've got the most energy, Shin. Don't think you're getting out of this.
I'll help too.
Good, good. Well, I'll give it a shot tomorrow, alright? Wait a minute. When exactly did I tell you I was gonna help?
We volunteered you.
Shinpachi, there's some trash over there. Go throw it away.
You missed a spot.
We aren't starting till tomorrow, right, Heisuke? Stop running around like that. We've just cleaned, and you're already kicking up dust.
I was enjoying their banter so much, I almost didn't notice Okita quietly step outside. Oh? I could just see Okita and Dr. Matsumoto outside, walking off somewhere together. Where could they be going, I wondered. Should get a quick save here.
I'm not really all that worried about Okita.
So do you. I was worried for Okita, but he'd be fine so long as Dr. Matsumoto was with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
After the excitement wound down, I excused myself and went back to work. I was outside sweeping, bamboo broom in hand, when he appeared.
They make you do chores here, do they?
Jeez. What? The cool, bemused voice had come from behind me. ... It took only half a second to realize that it was a voice I'd heard before. Slowly, I turned around.
Slowly I turn.
Slowly I turned, step by step, inch by inch.
You have the pure blood of a demon running in your veins, and yet you run errands and clean up for a pack of humans.
Oh, yeah. So, you remember those three guys?
Yeah. I remember them talking about... I'm an evil demon. Yes.
They didn't say evil, but yeah, they did say you were a demoness. Yep.
Technically, Oni.
Oni, yep.
Yeah. Whatever that really means.
Chikage Kazuma, just as I'd suspected. Just as I'd suspected. His face was a mixture of surprise and sneering disgust as he looked down at me through cold eyes. I took the broom in both hands like a staff and stepped into what I hoped was a fighting stance. What are you doing here? I will smack you with this broom.
Humph!
It was halfway between a disdainful laugh and an amused snort.
You mean to fight me with that, hmm? Your heritage hasn't blessed you with brains, I see.
His tone was mocking, but his eyes were like two chips of ice. This was a dangerous man. What was I to do? I could hardly face him alone.
Calm down. I haven't come here to fight. Not today, at least.
Well, last time he said he was here to kidnap us.
I only want to know what, if anything, you have to do with Kodo.
He seems to know Dad. Kodo, that was my father's name. But why would he, of all people, mention my father? You want to know about my father?
Father? You mean Kodo?
If you're talking about Kodo Yukimura, then yes, he's my father.
I see.
I'd seen surprise in his face at first, but now an understanding seemed to have dawned across it. Unfortunately, my own confusion had only deepened. Why are you asking me about my father? I lowered the broom, my situation temporarily forgotten, when, suddenly...
Step. Trying to sneak into the enemy camp alone, huh? Well, not on my watch.
Well, I'd say he did a pretty good job of actually sneaking in, but...
Yeah, he got sneaking in part down, just, getting out, that was a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. Hijikata? He settled into a loose fighting stance, placing himself between Kazuma and my pathetically ineffectual broom.
What you doing out here in the broad daylight? A little early in the day to be picking up chicks, pal.
We do that later.
Get away from her!
Harada, Heisuke.
I heard you yelling. Sounded like you were up to something besides cleaning. You alright, Naomi? Are you hurt?
I nodded, relieved. Wait. That doesn't quite make sense.
The Mibu's wolves can only fight in a pack, eh? Watch it.
I could feel the tension rising by the second, but it was Kazuma who attempted to cut through it.
If you want to play, then I'm happy to oblige. But I'm here today simply to take care of some business. More specifically, to issue a warning. Stop trying to turn humans into demons.
What? Humans into demons? Was he talking about the water of life?
Not your business. Yeah, what makes you think we're gonna listen to a sleazebag who'd attack a girl in broad daylight? Idiots. Are you too blind to see that I'm doing you a favor?
If he was trying to show the Shinsengumi kindness, it certainly didn't show on his face.
This is our turf. You better shut your trap before we gotta do it for you. The smaller the dog, the louder the bark.
He looked away from the captains as if suddenly entirely uninterested in them, and fixed me with his cold gaze.
Kodo is with us now, Naomi. Do you understand what that means? Your father has abandoned the shogunate.
Oh no. What?
Dun dun dun. Sorry.
Dun, dun, dun. There you go. His mysterious smile gave me nothing in the way of explanation.
Why are you here? I suggest you think on that. Carefully.
Then, with a slow rippling motion like a shadow slipping across the ground, he turned his back to us and vanished.
Like a shadow slipping across the ground.
Interesting sort of turn of phrase. What was happening? What were demons, and why had they come after me? My father was with them? On their side, he must have meant. Did that mean he was working with the National Imperialists? The inside of my head was a swirling mass of questions and doubts, but the one thing that most concerned me was... Next choice.
Well... we find dear old Dad. Wonder why in the world they want me.
Uh-huh.
Or what in the world he meant by demons. What you really want to know is what word they're specifically using for that. And
They're still using the word oni.
but that one covers such a broad
It does
term
cover
of
a broad
items.
term, yeah. It's most often translated as demons.
Okay. I guess I'd be most interested in... I'm a very self-centered person, right? Right.
I don't know. It's up to you.
There's so many questions.
So many questions.
So many choices.
I'm pretty sure you were basically set on the neutral route now. I don't think it's possible for you to get on anyone else's route now. But, I mean, yeah, you're
Chaos, panic, and destruction.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm after.
whatever you want to do here.
Guess I'm wondering why they're interested in me. Yeah, let's wonder what in the world.
What had become of my father? Did my father really betray the Shogun? It wasn't an easy question to ask. Until then, I thought he was working for the Shogun. And why did Kazuma know so much about my father? The more I thought about it, the more I realized just how little I actually knew.
Don't let it get you down, Naomi. At least you know he's alive, right?
Oh, this was the Heisuke choice. I didn't know what I looked like, but it must have been terrible, judging by the concern on Heisuke's face. Yes, that's true, but... He was doing his best to cheer me up, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I still had so many questions.
Besides, I don't even know if what that punk said is true.
Thanks.
We just gotta capture as many nationalist Ronin as we can, and see if they know anything about your dad.
We just gotta capture people and interrogate them. That's great.
True. We don't really have any reason to believe this Kazuma.
Also true. Yeah.
We've got the watch looking for Kodo. I'm sure they'll find something soon.
They'll find something soon.
Find something soon.
Find, yeah.
We're gonna pick out
Every single typo.
yep. in this game.
Yep.
We're going to find it, and we're gonna let them know.
We're gonna find it.
We're gonna find it.
Yep.
Oh, and the encyclopedia has been updated.
Even Harada and Hijikata seemed concerned about my mood. Thank you. I hadn't really expected any of them to be so nice to me. It was a pleasant surprise. The only reason they allowed me to stay was because I was my father's daughter. That hadn't changed, but...
I'll let you know as soon as I find anything out, okay? So don't let it get to you, Naomi.
Okay. Their words, Heisuke's especially, made me feel happy.
Oh, Heisuke, he's such a perky person. He's so nice.
From then on, Matsumoto visited the compound regularly to check up on the men of the Shinsengumi. The corps was renamed the Fury Corps, but remained secret. Still, I couldn't help but wonder, was it really alright to continue to research the creation of furies? It wasn't long before I began to wish I'd never heard of the Water of Life, or furies. Bum bum bum. October 1866. After the dust cleared, following the Hamaguri Rebellion, the shogun set about cleaning house. The Choshu domain were declared enemies of the court, and the shogun gathered other domains and launched a military campaign known as the Choshu Expedition. It was the intention of the shogunate to completely demolish the Choshu domain, but intervention on part of the Satsuma and some of the other domains led to an early end for the expedition with no actual battles fought. Perhaps feeling they dodged a bullet, the Choshu domain fell silent for a time. Their obedience was short-lived, however, and before long their disrespect for the shogun became impossible to ignore. Kondo was asked to accompany an envoy sent to the Choshu to investigate their behavior, but they refused to even meet with the envoy. Fed up with their insubordination, the shogunate ordered the second Choshu expedition.
Hey, guys, listen up!
What is it, Nagakura? Is something wrong?
What? You running into some outlaw Ronin out there? No, it's way worse than that. I heard that Lord Lemochi?
E. It's an I.
Ah,
Iemochi.
Emochi.
Yep.
Right. Capital I.
Yep.
Emochi's dead. Poor Emochi.
Poor guy. What? Lord Iemochi, the 14th shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate? I could feel my chest tighten. I'd never seen his face in person, and neither had most of the Shinsengumi. Even so, the Shinsengumi had been assigned to guard him in the past, and he was a symbol of the shogunate.
Are you sure, man?
Are you sure, man?
This has gotta be the worst time for something like this to happen. What's gonna happen to the Choshu expedition? Have they decided on a new shogun yet? I don't really know any details. There's no way we can go to war without a leader. It'd destroy morale. I know. I've got a real bad feeling about this. Got a bad feeling
about this.
Poor Han.
Han Solo.
The Choshu got off easy. I'm hoping they'll get the pounding they deserve this time, but...
They're only a single domain. I tried to convince myself that a single domain couldn't cause much of a problem, but I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. Soon afterward, the shogunate led a massive army against the Choshu, but the expensive war weighed heavily on the coffers of other domains, and they fielded fewer troops than the shogunate had hoped for. The death of Iemochi was another blow to army morale, and some domains withdrew from the war entirely. So it was that the second Choshu expedition ended in a shocking defeat for the shogunate army. That was the moment when the shogunate government, stable for 260 years, began to waver. Boom, boom, boom. Sure has been hot lately. I swept my hand across my face, wiping away several new beads of sweat. Kyoto was a nice city, but I could have certainly done without the humid heat.
Indeed.
Beneath his usual calm, there was a hint of alertness and carefully restrained violence, and for good reason. The Choshu had been declared enemies of the court after the Hamaguri Rebellion and driven out of Kyoto, but some feared remnants of their forces had remained behind, in hiding. Now more than ever, Saito and the rest of the Shinsengumi had to be alert and focused when on patrol.
I'll begin with this store. Wait here. There is nothing for you to do inside.
All right. He gave me a short nod of confirmation and stepped into the shop with his men.
I'm from the Shinsengumi. I have come to inspect your store. Yes, sir. Of course.
I've been waiting for Saito and his division for a few minutes when I noticed a commotion nearby. Another character
Hey!
without eyes.
Out of my way! You got a couple of patriots coming through here.
Oh yes. A number of rather unpleasant-looking Ronin were making their way in my general direction, yelling, threatening, and generally intimidating anyone unfortunate enough to cross their path. Patriots? Hardly. Perhaps they considered themselves loyal to the imperial court, but they looked like the sort who only used their supposed patriotism as an excuse to steal and kill. These were just the sort of men whom the Shinsengumi was charged with subduing.
Hey! You deaf? I told you to move!
The Ronin tossed a poorly aimed kick at a child playing in the street. Stop! I'd barely taken a single step toward them when... Desist, you hooligans! I didn't see where she'd come from, but a girl had run out to place herself between the Ronin and the child.
What's this?
What's this?
You think you can tell us what to do, lady? Huh. Some broad wants to pick a fight with us. Patriots loyal to the Emperor.
The man's obviously short fuse had been lit. He made a grab for the girl and missed. I suspected his next attack wouldn't be quite so inaccurate. I couldn't let that happen.
Who are you? You know this broad?
No, I don't.
Then how's about you keep your damn nose out of my goddamn business?
Flecks of spit flew from his mouth as he roared at me, and my legs suddenly felt somewhat weaker than they had a moment ago. But I was committed. I couldn't run now. If you truly love your country as you say, then why do you abuse women and children? A samurai should protect common people, not attack them.
What did you say? That's right. You tell him, son.
Suddenly self-confident man. Suddenly overconfident man.
How'd you like that, you damn Ronin? Patriot my ass. Get out of my city.
Something about my speech seemed to have struck a chord with the crowd that had begun to gather. With the cheers, my legs started to regain some of their usual steadiness.
You son of a bitch.
With the rough hiss of metal, the Ronin's sword leapt from its scabbard. I suddenly discovered I had difficulty swallowing. I could try to dodge, but if I did, he might hit the girl my actions had intended to protect. No, that wasn't an option. I shut my eyes.
Dark!
Huh? Slowly, carefully, I opened my eyes.
You needn't worry. He used the back of my sword.
Saito.
You! Take them to headquarters. They may be Choshu. Yes, sir!
Working quickly, Saito's men set to work binding the Ronin for transport. Saito's cold eyes fell on me. It wasn't my fault, I swear.
That was reckless. Why didn't you call me?
You were busy. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking.
The gentleman is right. You were dreadfully reckless. I had the situation quite well in hand.
A scolding from Saito was expected, but I hadn't thought that my erstwhile damsel in distress would contribute. I'm sorry I made you worry. I gave her a short, slightly confused bow, to which she blinked as if suddenly remembering something very important.
Oh, but you did save me, didn't you? Now. And I haven't yet thanked you. How crude of me. Thank you.
I must say, you were awfully courageous. Most people wouldn't dare confront a Ronin so.
No, I didn't. I mean, Saito and his men saved me. I didn't really do anything. She raised a dainty hand to her mouth in a poor attempt to stifle a giggle.
Oh, you needn't be so modest. I suspect this, our meeting here, is Providence. Young ladies must watch out for one another here in the city.
I like how you're giving her an accent. Saito glanced from her to me, and an expression flickered across his face that I couldn't quite place.
You can't expect to fool everyone. There's no need to worry about it.
Oh dear. Was it supposed to be a secret? Perhaps I shouldn't have mentioned it.
Well, I wasn't entirely sure how to respond. How does a person respond to that sort of question? She seemed to sense my confusion and gracefully moved on.
I'm terribly sorry, but I don't believe I've even asked your name. How terribly boorish of me.
Boorish?
Boorish, yeah.
Those are big words.
I should very much like to be friends, but it's difficult to become acquainted with the nameless. Might I inquire as to who you are then?
Well, it seemed only polite to introduce him first, being that he was a good deal more important than I was. But the girl seemed to have other ideas.
Oh, I know who he is, Mr. Saito, yes? The Shinsengumi is frightfully famous here. And you are?
My name is Naomi Yukimura. It's nice to meet you.
And it's a pleasure to meet you, Naomi. You may call me Sen.
Miss Sen?
Oh goodness, you needn't be so uptight. You look to be about my age, so I see no reason for us not to speak as contemporaries.
And that's the end of our timer.
End of our timer.
The end of our timer. 30 minutes is up, man.
Fine.
We'll get back to more of this high-pitched voice next time.
What?
Fine.
Until then, bye.
Bye, guys.